Hi everyone, in this video we want to learn reporting verbs: agree, notice, disagree, complain, say, tell, ask. These kind of verbs, which are called reporting verbs, it means they're used to report something. Somebody tells something, for example to me, and I retell that thing to another person. I'm reporting that, this grammar. And we want to learn four things in this lesson. We want to learn about optional that. My friend told me that. So this that can be omitted in some sentences. We want to learn where. Two, necessary that. In some sentences, that is necessary and we cannot omit. We want to learn where with what verbs that is necessary. 3. Necessary object. Some words, some verbs need objects. For example, my father told me that I must go to university. Me, this is an object. With some verbs need necessary objects. It means they cannot come without an object. And number 4, object after that clause. And there are some other verbs that need objects, but we should put the object after the that clause. So let's dive in. First, we want to do a review of tense choice. I have a full video about tense choice, and you can find this video on my channel. When a statement in direct speech changes to indirect speech, the statement becomes a noun clause. For example, I watched the news last night. He said, I watched a news last night. Here, the second sentence is a direct speech. This is a direct speech because we didn't change anything, not the pronoun, not the verb, the tense. So this is direct speech. Now we want to change it to indirect speech. He told me that he had watched the news last night. Now anything after that is a noun clause. Anything after that is a noun clause. Now pay attention to the tense choice. Watched goes one step in the past, changes one step in the past. It becomes had watched. So any tense that we want to use in our sentence, we move it one step in the past. He told me that he had watched. Simple past changes to past perfect. Well, I have a video about the tense choice, a full video there. We talked about this thoroughly, and now we want to learn omittable that. With these verbs, said, told, agreed, mentioned, noticed, promised, thought. With these verbs, we can omit that. These verbs are common reporting verbs. With common reporting verbs, it's usual to omit that mostly in spoken English. So when we omit that, the audience realize that we are using spoken English. Seoul has a striking combination of modern and ancient architecture. Striking means attracting, noticeable, attracting attention not by beauty but by reason. Well, Seoul has a striking combination of modern and ancient architecture. We want to report it with one of these verbs, with, for example, agree. We all agreed that Seoul has a striking combination of modern and ancient architecture. Now we can easily omit that. We all agreed Seoul had a striking combination of modern and ancient architecture. We need to move one step in the past. So we need to change has to had. Let's retell this sentence with another word. For example, notice. We all noticed Seoul had a striking combination of modern and ancient architecture. Now I want you to retell this sentence with the reporting verb think. The past form is thought. Do it. Another example. The election is to be postponed. The Secretary of Human Rights headquarters promised. Now our verb is promised. Omittable that the election is to be postponed. Postpone means delay, means to put off. And headquarter is a center of operations. Well, this is our subject, the necessary of human rights headquarters. This is our subject. Promised is our reporting verbs. That is omittable here because we are using a common reporting verb, and is changes to one step in the past. Was. So the Secretary of Human Rights headquarters promised the election was to be postponed. Now we don't omit that with these verbs. Verbs that are less likely to be reporting verbs. For example, complain, confide, deny, grumble, speculate. So it is less likely to leave out that after these not so common reporting verbs. For example, I speculated that you were annoyed with me. Speculate means make guess, surmise. I made a guess that. Speculate is not a common reporting verb, so you must not that after speculate. And you were, so the statement was you are annoyed with me, or I am annoyed with you. And the other one, the audience says, I speculated that you were annoyed with me. I want to make a sentence in your mind. I speculated that. Make a sentence in your mind. Making sentences with anything you learn is the best way to learn grammar. The manager denied that he is going to lay off the entire department. Deny is one of not so common reporting verbs, and the manager is our subject. Deny is our reporting verb. That is not omittable. That is necessary here because of the verb deny. He is now the tense choice needs to happen. He was going to lay off the entire department. Lay off means to discharge a worker temporarily or permanently. To tell a worker, I don't want you to work here. To fire some workers because of economic condition, because of shortage of money, because of shortage of work maybe. So some workers, you need to discharge them from the workforce, and this is called layoff. We can retell this sentence with another reporting verb. For example, complain. The employees complained that the manager was going to lay off the entire department. Oh, the employees grumbled that the manager was going to lay off the entire department. Now I want you to make a sentence with deny. I denied that What have you denied recently? I want you to make a sentence about that. He grumbled, complained that his colleagues are all bootlickers who are always flattering the boss. Grumble and complain, they're not so common reporting verbs. Grumble means to complain about something in a very bad way, in a bad-tempered way. He grumbled, complained that that is necessary. His colleagues are. Now, this must be aware. So he grumbled, he complained that his colleagues were all bootlickers. A bootlicker means someone who seeks favor, but in a bad way, in a servile way. Here, his colleagues were all bootlickers who were always flattering the boss. Now, what have you been grumbling at recently? My bosom friend means very close friend, intimate friend. Confided that he was in the hot water awfully. He was in a very bad situation. And confide means to tell about someone about your secrets. Confide, yeah, to tell someone about your secrets. My bosom friend, subject, confide. Reporting verb that is necessary here because confide is not a common reporting verb. And he was in the hot water awfully. Noun clause. My friend confided that. Please complete this sentence in your mind. Do not leave out that after answer, argue, and reply. After these, it is not likely to leave out that after these verbs. Answer, argue, and reply. The pundit asked me how I watered the crops. The pundit asked me how I watered the crops. I answered that the land was trenched for irrigation. Well, irrigation means supplying of water to land to aid the crops to help to grow. I answered that the land was trenched. I answered that is necessary here, and tense choice, well, is correct. Watered and was, so tense choice is correct. He replied that necessary that he was getting a terrible grade in math this year. He was, so the tense choice is correct. And he replied that after answer, after reply, we don't leave out that. That clause not immediately follow the verb. Don't leave out that. If that clause doesn't immediately follow the verb, for example, I confided in my father that. So, the reporting verb does not immediately follow the noun clause. There is an object in between. Here, we are not allowed to remove that. I confided in my father that I have fallen in love. Oh, this is beautiful. All military officers agreed with the minister. So our reporting verb is agreed with the minister that another war only would lead them to a financial crisis. And this is our noun clause. That cannot be omitted because all military officers agreed, reporting verb. But after agreed, we have an object with the minister. So the verb agree does not immediately follow the noun clause. So that cannot be omitted. With some words, object is necessary. With notify, with show, reassure, tell, convince, remind, inform. These verbs in the active form, not passive form, must come with an object before that clause. Before that clause. Pay attention to this. Example, the bank persuaded its customers. Persuade is a synonym to convince. The bank persuaded or convinced, both are correct. Its customers, so our reporting verb here is persuaded, convinced. And there is an object here, necessary object, before that clause, that I should invest their money in the stock market. A reporting verb with a necessary object before that clause. The software engineer assured a reporting verb that needs object. All the users, and here is our object. All the users, here is our object. That the software is easy to use, even for newbies. So there is a sub-object, all the users, between the verb assured, reporting verb, and the that clause. Pay attention to the object. Its customer, all the users. These objects are not prepositional objects. My lawyer told me object without any preposition. That clause. That I must stay out means not intervene. Stay out of the retail business as it is not legal, or some business is not legal, and my lawyer is telling me to stay out of it. Lawyer told me, told is a reporting verb, and that is necessary because we have an object here, so there is a gap between these two. The verb tell comes with its object here. My father reminded me that. Remind is another verb that needs object. My indecision only would exacerbate, means make worse, what was already a bad situation. Me, a necessary object. You could also say my father informed me. My father convinced me that my indecision, my inability to make a decision, indecision means inability to make a decision, would only exacerbate, make worse, what was already a bad situation. More examples. The police informed the families of the victims that the hostages were treated well by their captors. Inform, a reporting verb, and here is our necessary object, the families of the victims, and this is a long object, so that is a necessary element here, and the noun clause. Sometimes you can put the object after that clause with promise, show, teach, and warn. Do you want to see how? Yes, here we go. The manager warned the staff that, so the staff here is our object, they shouldn't wear open shirts, or clothes with see-through fabrics, means revealing fabrics. Now we can put the staff after that clause. The manager warned that the staff shouldn't wear open shirts. So here object is necessary, but we can just put it in another place, put it after that clause with words promise, show, teach, and warn. Elderlies always promise young children that all their worries will seem little as they age. Since this is a general truth, we don't have a change of tense here because this is a general truth. We talked about it in another video. But pay attention to the word promise. Promise young children. Object. Young children, here is my object. And in the other sentence, elderlies always promise that all young children worries would. So now the object has moved after that clause. Of course, with a little change. He warned that I might be held responsible for the damage to the car. He warned that or he warned me that the object can come before that or after that. As organizers of the debate competition, they advised screenwriters that they needed, before that, they needed to put their thinking caps. It means to think very hard. Put on your thinking cap on and decide the topics for this year. As organizers of the debate competition, they advised that screenwriter, object after that, here object before that, here object after that, needed to put their thinking caps on and decide the topics for this year. Now let's do a review. Optional that with these verbs, said, told, agree, mention, notice, promise, think. Necessary that with not so common reporting verbs, complain, confide, deny, grumble, speculate, answer, argue, reply. Necessary object with notify, assure, reassure, tell, convince, remind, inform. These verbs must come with an object, and some verbs can have an object after that clause or before that clause. Promise, show, teach, and warn. And this was the grammar of reporting verbs. Thank you so much for watching this video. I want to change the name of the channel. Maybe, I don't know, English with Arash is too generic and somebody else is recording videos with the name, so I want to change that. If you have any suggestion, please write that in the comments. Thank you very much. I hope this video is useful for you. See you on the next video. So long.